And then I posted a few stories in the first days of blogging. Has anybody been reading long enough to, I keep adjusting my shirt, I do that when I get nervous. Anybody been reading long enough to remember the fruit stripe story? Oh, and you're still here. Well, when I was 3 years old, my mother started noticing a foul odor whenever I was around. And it wasn't the typical foul odor that you associate with a 3-year-old. It was disturbing. And she scrubbed me and disinfected me, and she could not figure out why I still had this odor. So she finally figured out that it was coming from the area of my face. And she wound up having to take me to the doctor. And it turned out that over quite a long period of time, I had rolled up fruit stripe gum wrappers and stuffed them up my nose. And I vaguely remember that I used to put things in my nose and pull it out because it tickled or something. But evidently I left some in there and forgot to pull them out. And then I'd do it again and leave, and wow. It kept getting shoved farther and farther and infected in my sinuses, and that's it. That's the story, basically. There's no resolution to it. There's no punchline. That was the story. The toenail incident, when I was in high school, I had grown up doing ballet, and my senior year in high school, one of my big toes became almost completely detached from my toe, except for the edges. I was just kind of waiting for it to fall off. And I was in class one day, and there was a really cute boy that I was in class with. His name was Derek Armstrong. He was blonde and real all-American boy and cute. And I pulled off my shoe, and I pulled off my sock in class, and I took a paper clip off of my notebook, and I stuck the paper clip behind my toenail, all the way behind it. And then I stuck my foot out, and I said, "Hey, Derek, look." And I wiggled my foot. And that's it. That's the story. So, I think I'll not tell you the booger affair today. But that's just an example of the early things I did on my blog. My dad was very proud. Shortly after I started my blog, I decided to get a big girl camera, a Nikon D70, and start learning more about photography. And I just started taking more photos of ranch life. Our dog Susie. This is my now 9-year-old boy. That's how long I've been blogging. He was 3 years old then. And he was naked, asleep on our sidewalk, sucking his thumb, covered in his blanket, which was a JCPenney towel, yellow towel. He called it his yellow. Oh, all the moms. And this was from the trampoline series. These were some early shots I took. I'd sit on the ground and crop out the trampoline and just get pictures of the kids jumping. And then I sort of turned the focus toward ranch life and the things that we did on a daily basis. Taking pictures of the kids working with their dad and cowboys. My brother-in-law Tim and the kids getting up early. Cowboy Josh. He's still single, by the way. His telephone number is... and these are the wild Mustangs that are on our ranch. I was sitting on the ground taking pictures of them peacefully gathered, and then I sneezed. And they came right at me. No. Oh. Sorry. 7 or 8 months after I started my personal blog, I posted my first cooking tutorial. At that point, I had kind of been blogging and about our daily life in a step-by-step way. I didn't post one photo and write about it. I would tell a story through a series of photos. And I was getting ready to cook a steak, so I just decided to take pictures in the same way, step by step.
Team butter.
I got team butter. I agree. So I took pictures of the raw steak in the package, the seasoning going on, the butter going on the pan, the steak being grilled. Oops. Sorry. And I posted all the photos in a step-by-step way. I didn't know if anybody would care, but I got sort of a favorable reaction to it. Even though people didn't need to see how to sprinkle seasoning on a steak, they still enjoyed watching the process unfolding. This is an example of my early food photography. Don't you love how I artfully placed my dirty fingers on top of it? I didn't know anything about food photography, but I just started taking more and more pictures of what I was cooking. Yum, yum. Chicken. Again, this is an early example of my food photography. I thought the closer you got to the food, the better. I was wrong. I would also tell little stories as I posted recipes. Here is where I was making pumpkin puree, and the pumpkins were saying goodbye. It's been great, bro. I'm gonna miss you, man. So clearly I needed a hobby, is what I'm saying. Months later, I had been posting regular cooking posts, and I actually spun them off onto a completely separate URL at the time. I didn't want to inconvenience people that were visiting my site for the horses and cattle, so I started a different cooking blog altogether. And the step-by-step recipe format, I stuck to that. And my food photography slowly started to improve. This is a photo I took of making chicken salad back in 2007 or 8. And this is the same photo last year. And again, this is the 2008 sandwich. And this last summer. So I just learned a little bit more about using natural light to make food look better. Sticky buns, pizza. Eventually, I united cooking and confessions under one roof, thepioneerwoman.com. And I added a photography section where I shared just easy tutorials, not professional, just kind of what I've learned. This picture always reminds me of my senior picture from high school. He's looking into his future. I also started a home and garden section when my husband and I decided to redo a guest house on our ranch, which we call the lodge. I post a little bit about gardening, but I've learned that the more I post about it, the less I can do it, so there's not too much gardening content. I do post about nail polish too.